Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84, and we're looking today at my two remaining grafted jujubes. One is a Lee, one is a Lang. I originally had 4, the other 2 died. What I've discovered is they don't really take well to growing in pots, or at least not in these pots. And I've also, having done a fair bit of research, I believe that they're not in the best soil or compost mix for pot grown jujubes. I'm not too sure they are enjoying these plastic pots either. They've not really grown extensively since I've had them. They do flower each year, don't set fruits. That's partly because of our climate and partly because they wake up late and they're restricted in pots. So I'm planning to repot these both into much larger fabric pots, which I think would be more beneficial. But from the research I've done, they don't seem to like high quantities of organic matter in the potting compost. I mean, they might be okay in the ground with that, but they're not doing well with it in pots. And it would appear that if you get a normal cheap potting compost, which has got a high proportion of probably peat, leaf mould, bark and other organic materials in, it breaks down quite quickly and tends to sort of suffocate the roots, so they don't have very healthy roots on them. So from what I've seen, jujube prefer a heavily loam or topsoil based mix with sand added to it and a smaller amount of organic matter. So I'm going to try and switch these to fabric pots, which I also think will help considerably, because obviously it will allow the roots to breathe more. The water will drain through faster because they don't need a very wet soil. I think I prefer it dry, and I think that probably explains why these ones have not been very vigorous. You can probably see if you look at this one, this was the new growth last year, which was about 12 inches, and I've seen the in-ground ones, and some of the growth on this is considerably less. This one's only put on about 4 or 5 inches last year. I've seen that in ground these can easily put on 2 or 3 feet, up to 1 metre in a season, and obviously they're not taking well to the pot conditions. They're also very lopsided. Well, this one's not so bad. This one's very lopsided in the pot and growing on one side. It's not growing up straight. So I'm going to take the opportunity to try and improve the soil they're in. Obviously I'm going to repot them while they're dormant, which is now, being in February, and we'll see what the roots look like when I take them out, and see if I can put them in a better soil mix that's going to suit them better. So we'll come back to that in the second part of the video. Okay, so welcome back to part 2 of the video. Got the first of the jujubes here. Now this one is the grafted variety, is Lee. The other one I've got is Lang, and this one's the one that's very lopsided in the pot and not straight. So I thought the first thing to do is see if I can get it out of the pot without damaging it, and then see if I can straighten it and centralise it in this larger fabric pot I've got down here, which is a 76 litre one, and it'll give me a good excuse to get rid of all these weeds on top. Now the compost mix I'm going to be using is basically topsoil this time, with some John Innes added, a little bit of perlite and some sand, and I'm hoping that that's more of a non-organic compost will suit the tree better, and it might grow a little bit better this year. Seems to be relatively healthy. Give it a tap, see if it comes out. I don't think the roots are going to be very well established personally, but we'll see. It is a very open sandy soil, so I think it'll probably break up quite easily. Yeah, not the best root system in the world on this particular tree. Let's see if I can pull it out and show you. actual fact it's it's developing a sucker, so I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah, not the healthiest looking tree in the world. I'm not going to use the old compost there. I'm going to put it straight into the fresh one. I mean, the root ball doesn't really need a bigger pot, but I want to sort of repot it and leave it for years, and I just think it might be better off in this in the long term, so we'll see what happens anyway. The downside of this, as you know from my other attempts at repotting, is these are very, very heavy once they're full. But we'll see what happens. I mean, the roots look relatively healthy, they're just not very thick and there's not many of them, so it's easy to see that it's not in the best of health. I'm hoping this is going to fix my problems. Good news is it will probably be able to stand this pot for a good 5 years if it stays healthy and recovers. It's a bit of a crooked tree anyway, so it's not as if I can straighten it fully. I'm just hoping that it will straighten up a little bit higher up the stem as it grows, but not really a lot you can do about them when they're very lopsided. This is John Innes number 3. Let's lift it up a bit higher, hopefully without breaking the roots. Sorry, isn't it too much running commentary with this? There's no need to really say anything. I'm trying to get the tree planted the same height that it was in the pot. The downside of John Innes is it's incredibly heavy. And there's not a lot I can do about that, unfortunately. Put a little bit of topsoil over the top. I bought bag topsoil, slightly lighter. probably because it's damper, not because it's actually much less bulky. Now this should be quite a high mineral, clay and sand content in the topsoil, not loads of leaf matter and organic material. Now I can always add organic material as a top dressing at a later stage if I wish to. There's no need to sort of have that this early. What I'm looking for is a more natural type of soil, as if the plant was growing in ground. So I'm hoping that's gonna help, and it's gonna do better this year and take off. As I said, it's not particularly unhealthy looking. You can see the grafted section probably, which is here. The older seedling rootstocks a lot more wrinkled looking on the bark, but I'm just hoping this is going to work, but we'll wait and see. So anyway, thanks for watching that repotting video. I'm going to strain myself trying to move it in a minute, but it's got to be moved to a different position, and if I've got enough compost, I'll repot the other one, and then we'll move on to the next batch of trees. But it's going to take me a long time to repot all these trees. As I said, this is a 76 litre fabric pot I'm using for this one. I think that's plenty big enough, and the 90 odd litre ones are just so heavy to move, it's an impossibility. So thanks for watching the video. Please give me a thumbs up, share the video if you think it'll be useful to anybody. Please subscribe to my channel, of course, and click on the bell if you'd like updates on new videos as they come out. I will catch up with you all in the next video. Brett out for now.